All right, let's talk about MVP candidate Jordan Love. And really, again, for the Packers, it's about the whole offense, right? Everyone is playing well. Everything is clicking right now. And for an offense that got off to a bit of a cold start, we'll talk about the cold start, but also, once they got going, just how good they were able to be in this second half. I mean, it felt unstoppable the entire second half, and it was. I mean, in the second half, it went touchdown, 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 field goal, end of game. That was their second half. Let's start off with a Tucker Kraft play. This was one early on. I mean, the guy had an unreal game. This is the tight end screen. Jordan Love is going to simply just flip the ball to Tucker Kraft, who, again, there's an unblocked player for the Steelers, so this is an opportunity to be able to make a tackle. At least this appears to be well blocked, so it's going to go for some yards, which is really the goal with this play, is to just gain like 5-6 yards or so and kind of force them to respect the boundaries a little bit more so you can run the ball up the gut easier. But the other thing is you got to be able to make the tackle. Watch as Kraft just breaks this tackle. A couple other guys get a hand on him, but not enough to bring him down before he gets into the end zone for a touchdown. So Tucker Kraft clearly celebrates National Tight End Day. He had a fantastic one. We'll touch more on him later. But let's go to the kind of the issues that happened in the first half. Right, as I said, this was not a perfect game. Took them a bit to get going. I think a play like this was probably the biggest example here. And again, it wasn't a disaster, right? They had 6 possessions, and they did go 3 and out in 3 of those possessions. They also missed 2 field goals and had a touchdown in the other ones. So, not a disaster. But here, watch what happens on, have a one-on-one matchup on the outside. Rodgers is going to take the snap, and on this one, is it going to work? It's Dobbs. It's going to be tough. A throw here for Love that definitely can work. Did I say Rodgers takes the snap? Sorry. This whole game confused me with the Rodgers making his return to the Steelers, but nonetheless, as in making his return for the Steelers, they're at home, but playing the Packers. You know what I mean. I'm getting jumbled. Watch the play. Watch as Dobbs, reaches up, can't quite make the play. Would have been a tough catch, but, there's a couple times where I thought the Steelers just made plays down the field. Ultimately, games can be won or lost on the outside, so that's a big part of it. Heading over here, this was a huge point in the game. So this was a 3rd down and 5. If the Packers cannot convert here, then it's going to be ball back for the Steelers. Probably good field position. They're already up 9 points, so you really want to get points on the board here. Jordan Love takes a snap, and there is going to be pressure, not just from one player, but 2 different players. So he's about to get clobbered. He's going to hang in the pocket and just give his guy a chance. And this is kind of what you like about Love. And sometimes it goes wrong, but more than not, this season it's gone right. He is not afraid to just give his player a chance. It didn't work on the Dobbs play, but here he throws one up to Tucker Kraft, who's able to make the catch. Some people thought that should have been offensive pass interference, but hey, it's not a penalty if it doesn't get called. Kraft makes the grab, and this is also just Tucker Kraft, turning into prime Rob Gronkowski, it feels like. Watch him, really, the defensive backs are having a hard time bringing him down. It takes a couple guys to bring him down. It's almost like a car in neutral on a hill, right? Where it's like eventually you're able to stop it, but it takes multiple guys and you have to really work for it and hope no one gets run over. I mean, it's impressive stuff. And speaking of impressive stuff, this play. So Christian Watson's back in the lineup, who, has always done some nice things for the Packers. I think that he is someone that brings something unique to this receiving core that has a ton of unique players and a ton of good players. You have a deep shot going over the middle. There is a safety who's deep. However, Love takes a snap, looks at the safety, and notices that he doesn't fully stay deep. Love off balance. He's going to try and get it over to safety, who kind of covered the more over the middle route a little bit more. And this is a dangerous play. And to be honest, I do think if this Pittsburgh safety kind of turns his hips a little bit earlier, perhaps he knocks this ball away. Perhaps he gets the pick. But again, Love, he's going to take a chance. And it's 3rd and 7. So ultimately, when you're standing at midfield outside of field goal range, probably given the kicking situation, it's worth it to take this chance. And also because watch this throw, good catch by Watson as well. Flag was on the defense, so ultimately able to get a huge conversion right there. That helped set up the go-ahead touchdown, and the Packers never looked back. So again, it's one thing to be able to run the offense, but making these high-level throws and making them consistently for Love, that's what put him in the MVP discussion, right? We can give credit to the play calling as well, and honestly blame to the Steelers' defense, I think, too. This is a zone coverage concept, and realistically, the Steelers should be able to cover all this, right? You have 3 routes, kind of, a bunch formation, a lot of them going in different directions, so can be confusing for a defense. But again, it's the NFL. You got to be all over this. However, once Love takes the snap, 2 defenders end up on the receiver closest that I have circled right there, which means that that player is going to be wide open. This isn't anything too fancy by Green Bay, so really the Pittsburgh Steelers should be all over this. But again, at the same time, for LaFleur, this is why he runs these plays. It takes time. It takes a lot of communication for the Steelers to notice this stuff. Usually they'll notice it, but maybe you're a half step out of position and you can make a throw work. Here, they completely miss it altogether. You run these plays enough times, you're going to see some miscommunications. Jordan Love, what do you think he does with this play? Puts one right on the money. Dobbs able to make the grab. So, yeah, very good stuff there from LaFleur, from this Packers offense. Everyone executing their routes properly. Not the best defense from Pittsburgh. But again, Tucker Kraft, he has to be the one we talk about. And let's talk about him once more. This situation, hey, still very much a game. The offense has gotten rolling, but 3rd down and 4, if the Steelers can get a stop, you're going to hold them to a field goal. It's going to be a 6-point game. Hey, I'm sure a lot of Packers fans are watching this video to hear me praise Jordan Love. You've seen Aaron Rodgers come back from down 6 in the 4th quarter plenty of times. You know that it is very much possible in this situation. So Packers really need to convert here. They're looking Tucker Kraft's way. Watch as when Love takes the snap. You're going to see that right here. It's just a really well-ran route by Kraft. There is a good amount of space, kind of not giving away what he's running just yet, but ultimately, again, you could argue maybe could have been some better defense as well. The defender covering Kraft tried to slow down the other receiver a little bit more, gets him out of position, but watch this from Love and Kraft. Perfect throw from Kraft, and now it's going to be his speed. Watch him just kind of, safety didn't take the best angle, and watch him outrun him. So Kraft doesn't have to run over you. He can also run around you. And, hey, everyone kept saying, oh, sure, this Packers receiving core, pretty good, but who's their number one? Well, in this game, it was Tucker Kraft who was their number one. Really good stuff all around from Jordan Love and this Packers receiving core. Kraft has 143 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns, so congratulations to everyone who had him in fantasy football. But, Jordan Love, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks. It was just all clicking, right? The offensive play calling was clicking. The receivers were clicking. The quarterback playing great football. They're blocking well against a defensive line that should be pretty good. It's good all around here for the Green Bay Packers. So, yeah, again, you were kind of waiting for this, right? Weeks 1 and 2 were so impressive for Green Bay, and it felt like they just weren't that team for the next 4 weeks. Losing to the Browns, tying the Cowboys. They did beat the Bengals and the Cardinals, but neither one of those games were super impressive from wire to wire. This was maybe not from wire to wire, but very impressive, especially in the second half. And this is kind of what you were expecting more of. Now they get to play the Panthers, which you expect more good things to happen in that situation. Panthers have shown some flashes, shown some signs of life, but, again, the Packers, we're viewing them as a Super Bowl contender. Well, this is an opportunity for them to show what they can do against a 4-4 team. So, yeah, really good stuff here from Green Bay. That's what I think about Love and how he played. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Always love hearing from you. And, of course, as always, thanks for watching.